Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Get in the Bin with me, Andrew Musgrove. And
Aye, series leader Sam Mulliner. Hello. Although we're about to find out whether I am actually series leader or not.
well, maths was never my strong point at school, but I have done the calculations, and you are still series leader.
I thought
It
it was
is,
close though.
it is close. It is 9 to you and 6 to my good self. So
Oh, I thought it was going to be close. That's not close.
that's only 3 episodes. The battle is on.
I've come with a strong topic this week as well because I thought lately I wasn't. I was being a bit too kind to you, or you weren't being kind enough to me, especially over tickets. But yeah, no, I'm coming back with a bang this week because I
Well, I'm
know
not
it's
having
something
that.
you hate.
I am not having that because you actually said you said this in the last episode as well, and I have to bring you up on it. You said you didn't want to get awarded the win because of the emotional pull on the heartstrings. So, I didn't give you the win partly because of that, because you said don't do it.
Yeah, fair enough. That was me trying to be self-deprecating, but then I realised I actually preferred to win.
What I always have to say is we delayed episode 13 until Saturday just gone, so it was kind of in the bag for over a week, but because of the fixtures in that final week of the season, we didn't want to overload you guys with podcasts. So we hope it was worth the wait. We certainly enjoyed it, and it was just our luck, really, Sam, wasn't it? That we recorded that episode prior to Miguel Almiron taking the worst dive in just history of Newcastle United.
3 players got booked for simulation in that game.
It was the
Three.
third Brighton chap. There was him.
There was 2 Brighton chaps.
There was his fellow countryman, but who was the other one?
Almiron. Oh,
No,
um, I don't know. It was nearly 2 weeks ago, but yeah, there was 3. I remember doing the post-match stuff for Newcastle Fans TV, and yeah, there was 3 booked for simulation, and then since then, of course, we had the defeat at Old Trafford as well. So, I mean, look, we are recording this before Brentford. Hopefully, we haven't bottled Europe, and I'd take Conference League with both hands. I've already been planning. I've been looking at the projected pots. We'd be in pot 2, were we to qualify for the Conference League. We could have trips to Kazakhstan. We could have a trip to Azerbaijan, Bosnia, Cyprus, um, Finland. There's all sorts of.
I take Finland. I wouldn't mind a trip to Finland. That would be canny.
You want Finland over Bosnia, do you?
Yeah.
It's just fair enough. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Cyprus though.
Cyrus would be a canny one, wouldn't it? But we'll just have to wait and
Or
see. We might not even get there, but hopefully, obviously, you guys will know by the time you listen to this whether Newcastle stand a chance of the Conference League, because if they have indeed finished 7th, they're still relying on Man City to beat
yeah,
Manchester United in the FA Cup. And also, one, have we discussed it? I was trying to think that actually. I don't think we have discussed it in length, have we, about VAR? We've discussed topics around it, but I don't think we've said VAR should get in the bin, or have we? Because it
I've
might be
always
getting in the
no.
bin.
My stance on VAR has never wavered. I've always said from the start and continue to say that I am a fan of the technology. I think it works well. The meat and bones on the other side of the VAR screen, though, is where the issue lies. Um, with this technology, there's still room for human error, and it's the human error that's still spoiling what VAR is, as we saw with Anthony Gordon, who sacrificed a sock, but still was unrewarded for such sacrifice. So, look, it's one of them. The training and the interpretation of these laws need to be more consistent. The technology itself is flawless for me. What can't speak can't lie. It's just the interpretation of said technology that's has always been and will continue to be the issue.
Well, we agree on that. I think technology is excellent. Those using it, not so much. And we'll wait to see what happens with this vote. Your gut instinct, Sam? Are the Premier League sides going to put VAR in the bin?
No,
You don't think so?
no, I think it'd be a step backwards.
Yes, you think it'll be a step backwards, but Do you think the Premier League clubs?
Yeah, no, I understood your question, and my answer is the same.
See, I think it'll be pretty close, though. I think you'll have. I'd not say I don't think they'll have enough to win it, but I think it'll be pretty close.
Well, I didn't realise we had to say how close it was. The question was, I think it would be scrapped or gotten in the bin?
I think
And I don't think it will.
I think there'd be I think there would need to be some amendments to the question, like don't scrap it, but can we work to make it better? Can we delay it for a few
That has
months
to happen.
and train people to get better at it? But anyway, we're digressing. That's a topic for a whole other video. Be interested to see what happens. So, right, get in the bin, episode 14. You gonna go first? Am I gonna go first?
You can go first.
All right. My point this week, my item this week is the phrase or phrases similar to "he's not that sort of player." So you know when a player
I'm
wipes
so
somebody
glad
out.
I've gone hard this week because, like, I've won.
That is such an assumption.
I've won. But yeah, go on.
Okay, may I continue?
Yes, yeah, if you must.
So yeah, when a player wipes out another player and it's a disgraceful challenge, more often than not, a red card challenge, and the commentator tells everybody that the player who delivered the double foot or the knee-high stamp isn't that sort of player. Like, we should just all forgive the incident that's just taken place. And it really annoys me. It usually happens with a player like Son or Adam Lallana, not that sort of player. Doesn't really excuse the fact, though, that they've just wiped someone off the face of the planet with a horrendous challenge. I don't really think I need to see any more of that. That needs to get in the bin.
He's not that sort of player. He always sticks to the speed limit. He gives his time to charity work, but you know he's absolutely gone knee high on a player on a 50-50. I'm really surprised, and doing these things on a weekly basis with you, it's some of the things that keep you up at night are absolutely staggering.
Does it not annoy you?
No.
Really?
Not in the slightest, because
it annoys me so much because it usually happens to the same players or the same team. And it's just like, I don't care if he's the nicest chap in the world. And if he gives to charity, he's just committed a horrendous foul and deserves to be shown the red card. I don't care if he's crying as he's walking off the pitch. I don't care how nice of a guy he is. It doesn't defend what he's just done. He's not that sort of player. How are you, man?
Yeah. Didn't that happen with Longstaff when he got sent off, remember? And then, like, Sean apologised to the referee before, like, leaving the pitch. Do you remember that? I can't remember who it was against.
Sean Longstaff's been sent off.
Yeah, might have been Wolves at home.
We're gonna have to have a little look at that. When did
Sean Longstaff get sent off? Don't comment in. We're gonna research this right now.
I cannot remember. God, no. I imagine it maybe also happened to Raul Jimenez when he kung fu style kicked Sean Longstaff back in December of last year, and he was shown a straight red card. I imagine someone somewhere on some wonderful TV company did also say, "What Raul Jimenez? He's not that sort of player." Yes, so Sean Longstaff sent off against Wolves.
Knowledge.
Not really sure what kind of challenge it was, but yeah, well, Sean doesn't look like that sort of player, does he?
He's not that kind of player. He does work for the foundation. So, you know, it shouldn't have been. I think retrospective action needs to be taken, and he doesn't get a 3-match ban.
Just imagine the referee running over and there's like a little booklet at the side of the pitch and he's looking through all their charitable donations or all the things they do, visiting schools. And it's just like, yep, double-footed challenge, but he did drop off a lovely donation to XYZ just yesterday.
But then, that's dangerous territory, though, isn't it? As we've seen, evil people can hide behind charity. Evil sportsmen can hide behind charity, especially in the world of cycling. Let's leave it there, because I know how sweaty you get when I get close to the line of libel. But yeah, let's not hide behind charity. But yeah, I don't see it as an issue in football, whereas mine is a huge issue for football fans around the UK, mainly, actually.
I'm very surprised because I thought you'd be on board with this one. I'm surprised you don't feel. I mean, look, it's not a major issue. Does it rock my world? No, but it's still something that really does annoy me when I hear it being said.
But it's not something you dwell on.
Well, I would rather them not say it.
It's an eye roller, if anything. It just makes you kind of tut and roll your eyes, rather than to get really angry about it. Whereas, like, I need this in the bin because it will have a positive benefit on my well-being.
Right, come on then. You seem so confident in your item. Fire away.
Yeah, we're going big this week, and it's something we've fleetingly discussed before on the podcast. So I thought I'd get it in before you do because I know you hate it as well. So I'm playing a very shrewd game this week.
Well, can I just jump in before you reveal it? Because I did play this game twice a few weeks ago, and I thought I had it in the bag with two items, which I thought in my head you would be all for because you've been affected by both. And I don't think I won a single show. So, you know, being presumptuous is quite a dodgy ground.
That's more to do with your debating skills as opposed to the items you brought to the table.
There's nothing wrong with my debating skills.
Many YouTube comments will testify to.
As many of your burner accounts have testified, Samuel.
So many better things to do than create thousands of accounts to troll you with. I'd never do that anyway. I thought had we not? Oh no, it was in the nose we put in the bin, wasn't it? Not trolls. I mean, there's probably a bit of a crossover there somewhere, but hey ho. I digress. My item this week is the 3:00 blackout.
Okay.
Point in the bag. Join us next week where we will be discussing.
Go on. What is?
It's just an outdate. It's just an outdated lord, isn't it? There was the kind of making the best of a bad situation, and during COVID, where all the games were played behind closed doors, and the 3:00 blackout was lifted, and it should have been kept that way. The old argument of clubs will suffer revenue because it will stop people going to stadiums and whatnot is just neither here nor there really, because the iFollow service was kind of brought in for the lower league clubs like League 1 and 2. I just don't see the issue with showing a 3:00 kickoff live on Sky or TNT or whoever, Amazon, Netflix, DAZN, whoever, or even BBC. Obviously, the FA Cup final used to be the exception that proved the rule, but even that got moved. I don't know what time it kicks off this year. Is it still 5:30 or has it gone back to 3?
I think it's 4:00. It's 3:00. Sorry.
Good, excellent. But it hasn't always been the case in recent years, has it? But yeah, that used to be the exception that proved the rule. I mean, I don't see any harm these days. And it might go a long way to kicking out piracy issues in this country as well. And we all know what I'm talking about. Don't pretend like you don't. So it's one of these that's just such an outdated law, which, it needs modernising a little bit, and it just needs to get in the bin, doesn't it?
Well, I've just done a little bit of research, and the new broadcast deal, which will now run until 2029, means that the 3 p.m. blackout will still be in place until that deal ends. And then obviously it's up to the every party to try and negotiate whether 3 p.m. games can then be shown. But given that the rule has been in place since 1960, it's very unlikely that this rule, I think, will ever be, or in the next decade, ever be thrown into the bin. I don't think.
Yeah,
and again,
60s, 70s, and 80s, I can understand because it was vital. You need footfall. You need people through the turnstiles, don't you? But now, like when the TV's worth more than your what your supporters can buy at the top level. This is. If you're going to go to a game, you're going to go to a game. I don't think whether it's televised or not really affects things anymore.
Well, I agree with you. I think that you look at the last few games when Newcastle United have been on telly, and the attendances have still been, close to sellout, if not sellout. The last game was Brighton, and that was a 3 o'clock kickoff, so that wasn't on telly. And actually,
That was
the attendance,
51,000
yeah.
as well.
So
That was
the
odd.
argument that it protects attendances is well, a load of waffle, because out of the last few games when they've been on telly and not been on telly, Brighton not being on telly was the lower attendance. But the argument is that it protects attendances. It protects attendances of non-league clubs, which is the other argument. I mean, obviously, you don't know if that is the case or not. Is that? I don't know. Do you think that is the case, that not showing 3 p.m. games, Premier League games, helps non-league clubs with bigger attendances?
No, I don't think it affects things at all anymore. Really, maybe that's me being a bit naive, but I'm a lover of lower league football and non-league games. So, many a time I've been to go and watch Telford down my neck of the woods, and Stafford Rangers and Hensford Town and all these little clubs in the Midlands. And I think TV deals are worth so much more than what they'll get through attendances now anyway, because the attendances in non-league and lower league aren't particularly brilliant anyway. There are a few exceptions to that, of course, but I'm making a sweeping generalisation. It's just not really fit for purpose in 2024.
So what would you like to see happen then? Are we talking about a Premier League channel being set up by the top flight and every game being broadcast on there? Are we still looking at external broadcasters, maybe like the ones we've got Sky? Maybe you could see Apple coming in or other options, and them coming in, paying for the access, and then every game being broadcast that is at 3 o'clock? Or when we're talking about games at 3 o'clock, are we talking about selected games, or are you talking about every game?
I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be every game. You look at what other countries do with the Premier League, whether it's Peacock in the States or Optus, isn't it? Optus in Australia, and others. I just don't see why the UK can't follow suit, whether that's Sky or TNT, to have a whole, like, whether it's a red button facility. Because at the end of the day, if you're a supporter of a club in the Premier League, like, us as ourselves as Newcastle fans, if we're kicking off on a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff along with 5 other games, there's only one game you're going to watch, isn't it? It's going to be the Newcastle game. So you're not going to have any real big neutral kind of viewing audience for those 3 o'clock games. But when the TV deals are worth so much, and this could increase, obviously, it's so expensive, satellite television and these sports packages that they bolt onto them now. But having that facility almost makes you justify the price of it a little bit more. So at least you can guarantee you can watch all your team's games in a season, whether you've got to get Sky, TNT, or whatever. I think a Premier League channel streaming service will happen one day, but it probably won't be anywhere near as recent as it should be. There's scope to do it now, but it, like you say, it's not going to happen anytime soon, till at least another decade. So it's just, everything's just so outdated with these things in our country for our kind of product, if you like. One of the biggest exports in England is the Premier League, and yet we can't watch it all. It's just odd.
Yeah, it is, and that is one of the big frustrations that does make me laugh, is when you can see people legally watching Newcastle United at 3 o'clock abroad. You go on holiday, you can watch it legally, yet here you can't, and that does make me chuckle that we can't even watch our own club. I agree, it is something that needs to change, but also I kind of like the idea of it being protected. Like, you're
No,
one of
you
only
don't.
50.
Stop
I
trying to play
do.
devil's
I think
advocate, because you're
there's something
rubbish at it.
there's something special about it? You've been one of only a select group of people to watch that game in person live.
I think the days of that, I think the days of that are so long gone. Look, it happens with the Champions League now as well. You have access to every single game that's being played in the European competitions. That argument, it doesn't do anything for
You're not
me.
having it.
We're past. No, we're past that. It's one of them people want it now. It's no, not for me. It's just it's 2024, and you can go around the world in any other country more or less and watch a Premier League game, whichever one you desire, at the click of a button. And in this country, it is forcing people to kind of watch these streams, which aren't above board. You know, if you, the sensible thing surely is to monetize it properly and give people access to it.
And give people another 20 quid subscription to pay for. I mean, look, if it was on the table, I think broadcasters would snap it up easily, and there'd be a bidding war, and the Premier League would make a ton of money from it. But it's in place, so they say, to protect lower league attendances. I mean, the argument is that just because, I don't know, Luton versus Burnley's on TV at 3 p.m., that's not going to stop a non-league fan going to watch his club, right?
No, if you want to go to a game, you'll still go to a game.
As easy and simple as
It
that.
is. I don't think it needs to overcomplicate it. If you want to, and look, being at the game is better. I don't question that. So if you want to go to a game, you'll still go to a game. It is as simple as that.
It is, and I feel like it's going to be very hard to persuade you that my item deserves to get in the bin ahead of yours. But
well, I'm not that type of player, so
very good. I'm just going to make one more case for it. It is arguably the most annoying cliche that a commentator can sprout. Come on. I mean, it's not like he knows the player personally. He's probably interviewed them a couple of times, but
speaking as someone who does a bit of broadcasting and a bit of commentary on other sports, there are plenty of worse ones.
I talk football-wise, though. Come on, then.
Well, there's a fantastic Twitter account.
I've seen it. I know the one you're going to mention.
Brian's Gun. That's the one where he or she does fantastic montage videos of said cliches in football, which are just absolutely joyous. And how they come up with so many it's just a genius account. It's at Brian's Gun on Twitter or X or whatever it's called this week. So yeah, go and check that out. It's just absolutely joyous. It's hilarious, some of them as well. In terms of football, I don't know. What do you think? There's loads of them, isn't there?
There's loads of them, but for me, he's not that sort of player. He's definitely up there, if not the worst one of the lot. I just can't stand it. It just does me head in. He's not that sort of player. How do you know he's not that sort of player? And also, it doesn't matter because he just proved he is that sort of player by doing that horrendous challenge. So get in the bin.
You can't. If one player does one bad challenge, that doesn't make him that sort of player, does it?
I'm not going to answer that in the way that I was about to, because then it inevitably means you just won this week's episode.
Well,
we're there. I just think it's just a very annoying phrase to use because it's kind of been used as a defense for something pretty abysmal. Like, yeah. I just don't like it. I mean, I just don't like it. I hate it with a passion. However, I can see.
So it keeps you up at night. I didn't even have to talk at this point because I can just let you, like
ramble on, tread water.
You're rambling on, and you're showing your workings out in order to get to the point of that I've won this week. So by all means, continue.
Now, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of watching me sink without trace because quite clearly there's no hope in persuading you to vote for my item. And do you know what? On your item, I get it. It is a frustration. It is an annoyance. As I said, I kind of like the whole 3 p.m. being protected to a certain degree. I think my biggest frustration about it is the whole everyone in every other country but the United Kingdom can watch the Premier League legally. That does my note, and that's my
Just
biggest
doesn't make
frustration.
sense, does it?
No,
Oh,
not at all. And I just don't understand how it's fair. It's our produce. It's ours. We should be able to watch it above all else, above anybody else. And I think it stems back to the lack of respect I think football fans in this country get. You know, you can and we've put a few items on the table that reaffirm that the late kickoffs, the ticket prices, the shirt prices. You know, it's and
travel aspect.
it's actually ironic, Sam, because we're talking about shirt prices and ticket prices and how they're massively expensive, but people will still pay because they want the shirt or they want to go to the game, and yet even if they had a 3 p.m. blackout and it was an extra 30 quid a month for you to watch it legally through Sky or some other streaming service, you would still have people paying for it. Yet this is the one thing the Premier League don't want to exploit for something strange and bizarre reason. I don't quite understand. But the
Yeah,
fact
and
that
the thing is as well, the people that do these streams, and I will touch this delicately because I know how you hate how I make you sweat sometimes, but
I think you need to clarify that one there.
yeah, the prison sentences that are being handed out to these people that do these like illegal streams, they are incredibly harsh if you compare it to actual other crimes as well. Incredibly harsh. Um, it just seems like, because let's face it, the biggest reason for illegal streaming is to watch sporting events. This it's to watch Premier League or whatever, any sporting event, and it's if these events were made more accessible, whether it's behind a paywall still or what, like you say, it would solve a lot. Um, I just don't get it how we're still in 2024 and we could have had this debate 20 years ago and probably came to the same conclusion. I can't understand how we're still here and all kickoffs aren't televised in the Premier League. It's strange.
Well, come back in 2028 when they sort out the deal to overtake the current deal, which ends in 2029, and we shall see if anything changes. As I said, I don't think it will for a long time to come. So maybe come back in a decade and we'll see if anything has changed. But yeah, this week,
We'll be struggling
Sam,
for things to put in the bin by then. Jeez.
I think we'll go through it all by then, won't we? But you never know. This week, Sam wins and he takes the scores up to 10-6. So I've got 4 to make it up to draw it level, which I think is still quite doable. Yeah.
If you say so.
You don't look all that worried, but I'm going to keep the faith. I'm going to keep the hope. But yeah, Sam's episode. I keep saying the word episode instead of item. I'm obsessed with the word episode. Sam's item this week of the 3 p.m. blackout in the Premier League. That is in the bin. My item of the phrase or phrases like he's not that sort of player did not persuade Sam that deserves to be in the bin, although I still maintain it is a very annoying phrase and a very annoying element of football commentary. But I have lost this one. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for listening. Hit subscribe, hit follow. Head over to chroniclelive.co.uk for all the latest Newcastle United news. And for myself and Sam, we'll see you.